Hi guys, Archie here. So for this video, we'll be talking about the definite tier list, which you guys have been asking for it, because I already made out the PvE ability mon, PvP ability mon, and their PvE tier list and PvP tier list. And now for today, we are going for definite tier lists. And this one is pure PvE, and all of them, I'll rate them all, everyone at R2, no matter you, unless you, the legend, they are the free one. For example, like Donar, Camille, and Lucas, they will be considering when they are at R2. And then the definite here, where I'm just considering everyone at D3. We're just getting the full effect of it. We are not talking about the extra stats for them. Okay, so this is the rating for the definite tier list today. And for meta PvE, which means if you're getting them for PvE situation, there will be the meta definite, so definitely get them. Then strong is something good on them, and you should really aim for them as well. Like for example, if you want to get them from definite pool, totally worth it, because in PvE situation they'll be used in a lot of cases. Then for decent, you can either choose to get them from definite pool, or maybe you want to get them from gold record pool. It's up to you, but I won't really actively aim for it by using the definite pool function. Then for the nah, means I would not put be one of the choice in my definite pool for PvE situation. Then do not equip. There's a special reason for it, okay? Because if you equip it, then it will affect you in certain content in your game. Alright, so let's go one by one, which is the first one is Donar. So Donar definite is at the start of the round, he'll instantly get his passive. So this is a very good thing, but mostly for PvP, so I won't really say he is PvE meta, but I would say it's decent, because you might need him for like tower. He'll be used a lot if in towers now, but other in tower he won't really shine in other content for PvE, so I would say it's decent. But anyway, he's definitely free to get, so most probably you want to chase for it as well. Then for Jin Yu Yao, at the start of the turn, she will instantly she will have a 50% chance to instantly get a speed up. So for PvE situation, you don't really need a speed up, because you can tune your equipment faster than the enemy anyway, so this speed up won't really affect your content in PvE situation. Then for Tiye D3, at the end of the turn, Tiye will have 50% chance to get recovery, but this recovery is only for Tiye, so Tiye will only get herself recovery, and she won't actually give the recovery to other teammate. So because of that, I would say it's nah, you don't really want to chase for Tiye definite. If you get it, fine, you can just equip it, right? But for PvE situation, you don't really want to actively chase for Tiye. Okay, then for Chuan will definitely go for the do not equip. What's the reason of Chuan's definite? Okay, definitely D3. At the start of the round, which means when you start the battle, the barrel, which is Chuan himself, will have 100% chance of getting an attack up. And this attack up, it seems very good on the paper, right? And it is good on the paper, but especially in Falsetto Fantasy, now we have a meta team which is like Chuan plus Embla plus Liam plus Feng Xun them, but because of this attack up, you'll mess up your whole team tuning, because the attack up will make Chuan the highest attack, and then Liam will not able to put the buff on Embla, because you see here for Liam, his S3 is he will give the crit damage up to the highest attack for 3 turn, highest attack. And same for the thing, Haley will apply the smelting mastery to the highest attack first. Their priority will always go to the highest attack, and because the team meta, we are trying to put it on Embla. But because Chuan will instantly get an attack up at the start of the turn because of his definite level, then the attack up will make Chuan the highest attack in your team, and they will just buff Chuan, not Embla. That's why we are trying to not give Chuan the equipment, because we can't really unequip the definite on this game. So for me, I have Chuan D2, but I did not let him wear it. So let me show you. I have Chuan here, 1 definite, and then here go extra 1 more, and I did not let it equip because it will mess up my falsetto fantasy team. That's why I would say do not equip. If you haven't equipped Yun Chuan's definite, please do not equip. If you're already equipped, fine, hope you are not D3, hope you are not equipping Yun Chuan on D3, so it won't really mess up your falsetto fantasy team. Because if you equip it already, then you cannot use you cannot make Embla, Liam and Haley with Yun Chuan together in one team, because Yun Chuan will steal away all the buff from Embla. Okay, then for Louis definite will increase his rich avatar final damage, which is the S3. It is very good for him, it suits him very well, but we are not really using him in PvE. I don't really use Louis at all in any kind of PvE situation, including Calamity Tower. So I would say, nah, just don't take it. Then for Tang Xuan. So Tang Xuan definite will increase his S1 damage when his HP is higher than 70%. So if you can maintain his HP higher, then his S1 will actually deals more damage. So Yun Chuan will mainly use on the old Calamity Tower, not the old Chimera Anomaly, and then and Wind Tower as well. But other than that, I don't really use Yun Chuan at other cases, right? So I would say it's nah. It is good on him. It is good on him, but it is not something you should actively chase for, like using definite pool. Especially you can get his definite from the story mode. You can get them for free. Okay, for Raven S3 here, D3 here, before casting her passive here, she have a 100% chance of getting attack up, which is this one here. This is a very good thing because she can self-buff herself with attack up before casting her passive. It is something you can actually use a definite pool if you really like Raven's S2. And Raven, I mainly use her for Cube Miracle because she helped me clear the way very fast. I also use her on APAP. And for early and mid game players, maybe Raven will be one of your best carrier in your story mode as well. So I would say Raven is decent because you can actually have Raven is worth to use a definite pool to pull her definite if Raven is one of your main DPS now, and Raven is also can be used in Cube Miracle and also for your APAP as well. Okay, so for Narmer recently became very strong because of his recent buff, and because now we have a lot of passive buffer, because like we don't really need them to take their turn to give buff to Narmer. And if you are a Narmer main or you have a high reso Narmer, most probably you want his definite, because at the start of the round he will instantly get a 100% chance of getting attack up. And Narmer playstyle is you need a lot of attack, you need a lot of buff to grant him a lot of the burning sun. So if you are a Narmer player and then you use him a lot, especially now the trial, now the meta team will be Narmer team, and then Narmer can be used at APAP as well. Narmer can be used in Calamity Tower as well because of all this usage. And then I would say the 100% chance is really worth it for Narmer because it will make him very consistent getting his own attack up buff, plus immunity on him if you're wearing immunity set, plus all those like Shachiko, Feng Xun or other buffer as well, will make Narmer instantly cast his S3 very fast. So I would say it's very strong, especially he covers so many content now. So it's definitely something you can actually consider to D3 him. Okay, then for Liling S3, D3 here, before casting his S3, he will have a 100% chance of getting attack up. So before casting this, he will get an attack up, and this is a very strong thing because Liling can self buff his attack up. Now he don't really need to rely his teammate to give him attack up buff. So but the thing is, Liling, I only use him on my Calamity Tower, the Inferno one, and if I'm early game, I use Liling because when I start the game I start with Liling, so I would actually get him D3, but in endgame you only use him in Calamity Tower. So I would say no, you should not chase for his definite. You get him, that is fine, you just equip it, but you don't really want to use definite pool to actually get Liling's definite. Okay, then for Triki, when casting Green Flames, 100% chance of getting speed down, which is the S1 here will have an extra debuff here, which is speed down. So is it good to have? Yes, it is good to have, but personally I won't really chase for his definite, especially in PvE. You don't really need the speed down from Triki, and you don't really use Triki in PvE situation other than Infinity Tower. But I believe that when you use Infinity Tower, you don't really need the speed down because you can AP down them, you can like stun them, stun lock them. So you don't really need definite for Triki in PvE. Okay, then for Hyde. Hyde D3 here is 100% chance of boosting his Breath of the Deep. It is something good in match with Hyde a lot, but I don't really see a Hyde in a PvE situation. So I would say nah. Gaius D3 will give him a crit damage up for the first time when he goes into the God mode. This crit damage plus 25% is a very good thing, especially for those turn-based content like the current one, the Feng Xun trials. The wave content is really making Gaius damage a lot if you have his definite, because it gives the crit damage up every time you go into God mode for the first time. So I would say it is decent to have. I will not say until strong because I don't really use Gaius in other content already. But for early and mid game player, if your Gaius is a main DPS, I would say yeah, you can actually chase for his definite. It is worth it. It won't really waste your definite this. But other than that, other than like early and mid game story stages, I don't really use him other content. Maybe in Calamity Tower, but yeah, the rest I don't really use him already. Okay, Biondina D3 here will giving her a 50% chance to perform a pursuit attack with her S1. Biondina only used in Dark Starlord now, so having it or having without it, it doesn't really make big changes. Okay, for Gabrielle D3, at the start of the round, Gabrielle will instantly get a immunity. Gabrielle is more for PvP, so for PvE I would just say nah. You don't really need the definite for Gabrielle in PvE situation. Okay, then for Sally, after casting S3, select 3 random allies to debuff 1 debuff from each of them. But this dispel 1 debuff is actually random. It can also apply on the ally who doesn't have debuff, and you just dispel nothing. And in PvE situation, you don't really need Sally's definite to extra dispel something. So I would say nah, you don't really have to actively chase for it. Okay, Ollie definite. Before casting his S3 is a 100% chance of getting attack up. And this S3 here also triggers from the passive. This passive here, when someone die, Ollie will make them prevent to die, and then will cast S3 to counter attack. This Law of Dot in his passive also counts for his definite, which means he also can trigger the attack up. And if you are trying to make a Chronos 4 turn from the previous video, if you haven't watched, you can take a look. You need the Ollie's definite to be high level and also high stats as well. So you want the 100% chance to trigger the attack up, or you're gonna get fed up from the RNG like me, because I tried to get the 4 turn Chronos. It took me so long to actually achieve it because of this attack up. Mine is 50%. That's why it's hard for me to actually achieve the 4 turn Chronos. So I would say Ollie is strong, and especially if you want him, he can be used in a lot of content as well. Chronos, Calamity Tower, like story stages, you might also need him for like life-saving content. And then Infinity Tower, sometimes he also will be very useful. Temporal Tower as well. And because he's a universal speed lead, so most of the time you might be using him a lot in a lot of cases, but not in Philosophical Fantasy. So I would say Ollie is strong because you kind of want the 100% rate to trigger it, or else it will be like really tough. It's a very bad experience. Okay, the next one, Unas here, he recently get a buff from his definite, but the definite is most likely for PvP because at the start of the round, Unas have 100% chance getting him immunity. So this is more a PvP situation, and at the end of his turn, 100% chance getting 1 random ally speed up for 1 turn. This is a very good thing for Unas. It fits him very well. But for Unas, you don't really use him in most of the cases now. You mainly only use him for like shadow bosses, the Desolate Land bosses. But other than that, you don't really need Unas in PvE situations, so I would say nah, you don't really want to chase for it. Then for Lucas D3, here is after casting S3, 100% chance of granting himself speed up. So Lucas as AoE AP down, AoE stun, AoE like can AP steal as well. The speed up on him will make him very strong because he really needs to keep outspeeding them and steal their AP. So this is something very fit to him, and especially this definitely is free to get. So I would say you should actually go for it. Just max him out. It's free to get the currency. So for Feng Nuxi as D3 at the start of the round, she will grant defend up to 2 ally, excluding herself. In PvE situation, yes, Nuxi is a lot of users in especially Infinity Tower, Temporal Tower, storage stages as well, but do you really need the defend up for PvE situation? I don't really think so. So I would say nah, you don't want to chase for Nuxi if you are just a pure PvE player. Clara D3. After casting Queen of Blessing or the S1, 100% chance of dispelling one debuff from the ally with the lowest HP percentage. So it's one more debuff here. But is this extra one debuff going to be a game-changing method? I don't think so. So I'll just put it at nah. Cecilia D3 at the start of Cecilia's turn, if they are stunned, 100% chance of dispelling one debuff from themselves. This is something for PvP, and especially Cecilia is a pure PvP esper. You don't really see Cecilia in any kind of content in PvE situation, so I would just say nah, you don't really want to chase for it. Okay, Sienna D3. Before casting Guardian Vine, which is S1 here, before casting your S1, you're gonna give a 100% chance of defend up to one random ally for 2 turns. This is something very good for Sienna, especially she already can provide attack up and speed up. Then her S1 is gonna give another buff, which is defend up, but the only sad thing is one random ally, which means you can actually, the defend up you can actually land on the same ally for another time. But the good thing is, because this S1 also triggers when Sienna's Avatar. Like when Sienna counter attack, she's going to provide defend up for one of your teammate again. So this is something good to have on her. And I would say, because Sienna is a lot of users in like Infinity Tower, Temporal Tower, storage stages, Falsetto Fantasy, she also have her own position because she's able to provide a 100% chance, 100% AP clear. So I would say Sienna's definitely is something really worth to get it, because the defend up, because of the defend up buff from her definite, she can actually provide attack up, speed up, defend up from her own kit. And even though it's random, but because Sienna casts her S1 very often, especially Avatar, I build my Sienna on Avatar a lot. So the defend up might actually help your team survive a lot because of that. So I would say it's decent for Sienna. You can actually try to get her. Okay, then for Tevor D3. At the start of the round, he will get a crit damage plus 25% for the first turn. This is very strong for wave content, and mostly we are not going for the effect here because we want the main stats. The main stats here increase his attack by 900 and then also increase his HP. And Tevor uses a lot in PvE content, especially in Andras, storage stages, Infinity Tower, Temporal Tower, and even in Falsetto Fantasy you can build Tevor with relief set as well. So getting Tevor definite and increase the level of it is totally worth it, and I would say it is very good, very strong to have to go for it. It won't make him like meta, but it is really very strong. Okay, then for Ahmed is D3 is when casting World Stage. But after casting World Stage, which is the World Stage is on cooldown, your S1 will increase the healing. So after you cast your S3 emergency heal already, right? And then his S1 healing will increase by 20%. So you're gonna keep healing for your team. And Ahmed, you can use him in a lot of cases as well. Falsetto Fantasy, Sentinel Hunt, Infinity Tower, Temporal Tower, storage stages, all those max HP reduction content, Ahmed will put into a very good position for your healing, and also the CD reduction he is able to provide, the attack up buff he is able to provide, and if you are R2, you're also going to provide a speed up buff as well. So I would say it's very strong, but not really until strong tier. I would say it's decent tier because you need the S3 to go on cooldown first. So I would say it's a decent tier, but you can actually choose for the Ahmed's definite. For me, I get my Ahmed definite at least D1 just for the extra healing effect. Okay, Jiang Jiu Li. Jiang Jiu Li D3 will make him a 100% chance to stun the enemy when he go into demon mode, but for PvE situation, you don't really see him at all. So I would say nah, if you are just a PvE player, you don't really want Jiang Jiu Li's definite. Okay, Zora. Zora D3, when her HP is above 70%, her S1 final damage is increased. This is a very strong definite on her, but the thing is, she don't really use in PvE content. I only use her, even though her my Zora is R6, I only use her in Shadow Fire hard mode when it first started, but after that I already start using Gaius or other Esper as well. So I would say Zora, nah, you don't really want to chase for the definite. Okay, Elliot. Elliot D3, when casting Pure Enlightenment, which is his S3, will grant himself a defense up. This is a very good definite on him as well, but for PvE situation, you don't really need him at all. Or sometimes you're gonna need him for Infinity Tower, but you don't really need the defense up on Elliot himself. You don't need to buff his defense. Okay, Brewster. Brewster definite when the Brewster have the reload attack, which is the passive. With this one here, the reload attack. This one that can shoot his S1, and this when you have the buff, his final damage increased by 25%. So it boosts Brewster a lot, and this definitely skills with Brewster a lot. And I would say the Brewster definitely will be your PvE meta. He can be used. He's one of the main DPS for Fatum Fantasy. He can be used in Infinity Tower, he can be used in Temporal Tower, he can be used in Story Stages, he can be used in all three Ritual Miracle bosses for all those speed content because of what he is able to do passively DPS. So PvE meta, you can go up to D3, you can go up to D6 as well. Personally, I went to D6. Okay, for Abigail. Abigail definite when casting the Torn Brambles, which is her S2, have 50% chance of granting one ally recovery for one turn. So, do you really need the recovery from? Sorry, the S1. Do you really need the recovery from Abigail? It is good to have, but not something you want actively to chase for it. Okay, next one, Everett. Everett, when he have a higher HP than 50% above, the Valhalla Guardian, which is the S2, right? Valhalla Guardian, the S2 damage will increase, which means more healing for everyone because her S2 can heal people. But in PvE, you don't really see Everett at all. Everett won't be useful in any kind of content in PvE for now. Okay, Ophelia. Ophelia D3, when enemy HP is below 100%, which most probably yes, right? Because you just need to hit him one time, then their HP is like below 100% already because 99%. Then the Elegant Strike final damage plus 30%. Elegant Strike is S1, and then the S1 is after you cast S3, you're gonna hit it up to 3 times, and if you're R6, you're gonna hit it 4 times. And this one will every S1 will increase her final damage plus 30%. So this is a very strong thing for all those content that got HP based content, because it need to be HP based. But this thing here, it won't work on boss, such as for Fatum Fantasy, they don't have a HP bar, such as Desolate Land bosses, they don't have a HP bar, so you can't trigger the definite at all. You can only trigger her definite for those like Infinity Tower, like the boss, they have a HP bar content. But personally, I have her on R6. I only use her in Calamity Tower, But other than Calamity Tower, I don't really use her at all. So her definite is good, is strong, but I would say nah. I won't really actively chase for Ophelia's definite, even though mine is R6 and I don't have a definite on her because I don't really use her at all and any kind of content at all. Even Calamity Tower, sometimes I just use other Esper to replace her position. So I would say it's nah, you don't really want to chase for it. Okay, Leora D3 here, when her HP is above 70%, the Daylight Beam final damage. So Daylight Beam is her S3, so her S3 final damage is increased by 20%. And she will be very strong in all those wave content and Ritual Miracle, where you want Leora to actually one-shot the enemy. And this final damage for her S3 is really helpful. And not to mention the definite stat is boosting the attack as well. So I would say Leora is... which tier should I put her? Leora mainly used on Ritual Miracle, the Speed Clearing, Temporal Tower, Infinity Tower, Story Stages. Because of all that, I would actually rate Leora higher tier than the rest here because Leora have more users comparing to other Esper in the decent tier here. So I would say Leora have a higher priority than the rest to actually get her definite, and I uses Leora a lot in a lot of situations as well. But personally, I don't have her definite on her. Okay, Ashley definite D3 give her 100% chance of granting one more Rainbow Bridge at the start of the turn. But the Rainbow Bridge here, for most of the cases, you want Ashley to help you clear the wave before using up all the rainbow stack. So I would say it's not something you should actually chase for it, but it's something good to have, but I won't really chase for it. Okay, Ife D3 here, when her HP is above 70%, then 100% chance of inflicting poison for one turn before casting gas, but you don't really use Ife at all, so nah. Okay, next one, Fatum Sister. Fatum Sister D3, 100% chance of getting inflicting speed down after casting the Heart Beam, which is S1. It's something good to have because you also use Fatum Sister a lot of content, so I would say it's decent. Okay, Cang Ji D3, when Cang Ji HP is full, deals more damage for his S3. But I don't really use Cang Ji in a lot of content because even though it's a HP swap, but I don't really use him in a lot of content, so I would say nah. Okay, Elaine definite D3, when she is at Night Goddess mode, then her S2 damage increase. So when you cast S3, you're gonna get Night Goddess, then you're gonna cast S2 to deal more damage. So it is good for her, but I don't really think she needs the definite to actually make her useful. Okay, Intisa D3, when Intisa is at stealth mode, Trojan Horse final damage increase. Trojan Horse is the S2 here damage increase, which is the AoE damage, but you don't really use Intisa a lot of content other than Calamity Tower, so I would say nah. Okay, Lian D3, at the start of her round, she have a 50% chance to grant 2 ally immunity for one turn. For a PvE situation, yes, you use Lian in a lot of content, especially for her shield and the survivability, but you don't really need the RNG 50% for get immunity for one turn at the start of the round. So I would just say nah, you don't really need it for PvE content. Mateo D3, when the enemy have spark, the Fire Punch final damage increase. Fire Punch is the S3 of Mateo, and Mateo deals massive amount of damage on Fire Punch, and it will make spark as well, right? So technically this is just a pure DPS boost on Mateo, and you use Mateo in a lot of content, especially on Fafnir, bossing content, and Desolate Land, and also Falsetto Fantasy. So I would say Mateo is totally a meta for PvE. Camille D3, claw attack have a 100% chance of inflict another stack of bleed for 2 turns, and claw attack is her S1, so her S1 deals damage, extend or debuff, and also 1 stack of bleed. It's very good to have for Camille. I would say it's decent, and especially Camille can get her definite to max, and the currency is easy to get as well. Then for Yuhime D3 has 100% chance of getting 1 stack of Hell's Hand at the start of their turn, but the most importantly, you don't use Yuhime in any kind of content, and the Hell Hand stat won't really affect her a lot, so I would say nah. Ethan D3 when casting Enchanted Song, 100% chance of granting defense up to 2 ally, which is the S3 here will give immunity, magic tune, and defend up as well. But in PvE situation, you mainly want Ethan for the panic, you mainly want Ethan for the magic tune. You don't really need the defense up on them. So it is good to have, but not necessary to chase. Okay, for Embla definite here. When the target is debuffed, 100% chance of inflicting bleed for 2 turns. So the effect itself is not good. But the most importantly, especially now, because of Embla, you want her to get as many stats as possible. So the attack plus 900 here also makes her very strong. She not just inflict bleed, which is another extra DPS, because the bleed skills with your attack now for 75%, and the definite stats here give another 900 attack up. So for me, as a Embla R6 user, and I use Embla in a lot of content, especially Infinity Tower, I use her at Story Stage, can be used as well, Cube Miracle as well, you can use her on Falsetto Fantasy as well. So I would say Embla is at the meta PvE tier. Okay, Yamato D3 gains 6 stack of Rashomon after casting, that blah blah blah. All these things here, actually you need Yamato to be R6 to be strong. So I would straight away put him in nah. But if you have Yamato R6, getting his definite is strong. Okay, Xuan Pin D3 at the start of a turn, 100% chance of granting 1 ally soldier, which makes her get the faster soldier stack. So cause you have 5 stack of soldier stack, then it will convert to chariot for 2 turns, which get a 10% attack boost and a 50% speed. So it's something very good to have. I'm get her on D3, but is it really necessary to get this min-maxing thing? Not really, but I would say it's decent. You can actually get it for her if you have Xuan Pin. The soldier stat helps a bit, but it won't really make a massive changes. Okay, for Jin Qiu D3, when his HP is equal or higher than the enemy's HP, his just redistribution damage plus increase, which is his S3 damage increase. So Jin Qiu mainly used now in all those like maybe Jin Qiu Metacom. You can use Jin Qiu in mainly in Andras as well. Definitely is very good on him, but he only uses at Andras and like story stages, all those. But I would say it's decent. You can actually go for it, because for those Jin Qiu lover and all those Andras player who is relying on Jin Qiu to clear them, getting his definite damage boost and the stats as well is really important for Jin Qiu. So I would say it's decent. You can actually go for Jin Qiu definite because of what he's capable of solo. Like he can actually capable of soloing he can capable of soloing APAP. He can solo Chronos. He can solo Andras by himself if you have Hyde on him at high reso and high definite as well. So you can actually consider to get his definite. Okay, so for JV D3 here, when his HP is above 70%, Eternal Light, which is the S3 here, final damage increase. But the thing is, I don't really use JV in a lot of cases other than Calamity Tower, so I would say his definite is nah. You don't really need to chase for it. Okay, Genie D3 here increase the final damage of Stir Fry Heat, which is the S3 here. But Genie is mostly a PvP as per. For in PvE content, you don't really need Genie in any kind of content, so I would say nah. Okay, Valeria D3 here, when Valeria's speed is higher than the enemy speed, the launching tight final damage, which is the S1 here, final damage is increased, which means you're gonna need to build your Valeria super fast to actually trigger this. But most of the cases, I use Valeria on relief set, and I build her on very slow because you don't really want her to take a turn. You want her to keep proccing the relief set, to keep casting the S1 to AP down and deal damage as well. So I would say Valeria is you don't really want to chase for Valeria's definite at all, because it's a different kind of team idea build. Okay, Liam D3. When Liam have Heaven effect, Liam S1 final damage increase, and this also gives him defense increase and HP increase. Liam is mainly used in a lot of PvE content. He's one of the PvE Esper. He can be used in Andras, Desolate Land, Falsetto Fantasy. He's one of the meta Esper because you need his assist buff. And when he give himself Heaven, which is a defense plus 50%, his S1 final damage is increased, and he is one of the meta Esper in Sonica as well. And not just Sonica, he can be a pure support. If you don't want to be a DPS, he can be a pure support to just help assisting as well. So I would say meta PvE. Definitely chase for Liam's definite. Okay, Hilda D3. At the start of the round, Hilda have a 100% chance of getting defense up. But we mainly use Hilda because of her sleep and poison. So the defense up won't really change anything on her. Okay, Nora D3 after casting Halconic Harmonic, she have a 100% chance of getting attack up, and Halconic Harmonic is the, can I show it here? Okay, technically is after you have this 3 buff. When you have this 3 buff, you're gonna cast the Halconic Harmonic, then you're gonna get herself a 100% chance of attack up. But do you really need the 100% chance of attack up? No. And I don't really use Nora in any kind of content as well. Okay, Haley Haley damage taken reduced by 40% at the before she take her action. This is mostly for more a PvP content thing, but we are talking about PvE, so Haley will be going to you don't really need her definite to make her work. Okay, Anna D3 here, dealing damage with S1, restore HP equals to 50% of her damage. This is a very strong definite on Anna, but because of Anna, in PvE situation, without the definite, Anna is actually able to solo most of the content already. So I would say Anna is, in terms of PvE, do you really need the HP absorb? For those Anna user of like trying to clear Temporal Tower, Infinity Tower, you definitely need her definite. So I would say this decent. Even though we are not looking at Falsetto Fantasy, we are not looking at tower content, but if you are using Anna to actually trying to use Anna to solo the whole Infinity Tower or like Temporal Tower or like story stages, you're gonna need the definite to actually make her lifesteal to make her survive. So I would say it's decent tier for PvE situation. Okay, Tolan D3 here, 100% chance to extend the target's ability cooldown to max. So this is more to the PvP situation, so I would say nah. Okay, Farah definite will grant her, when splashing Cold Splash, dispel 1 buff from each enemy, which is her S2, can also dispel buff now. And she after casting S2, she also have a 100% chance of granting Synergy. Synergy is her unique gold buff, which immune to AP down and also damage taken reduced by 40%. This thing only applies for S3, but having her definite will make her S2 as well. But most of the cases in PvE situation, I only use Farah to freeze them. I don't really need her definite to make her useful. Okay, then for Mavis D3, before starting of the turn, if she have disease, 100% chance of dispelling it, but most of the cases you'll trigger the other one. Otherwise, 100% chance of granting 1 attack up to 1 random teammate for 1 turn. This thing is the same situation as the Chuan one. It is very strong on Mavis, but this attack up is when the start of the before Mavis turn. So this attack up will actually maybe mess up your team tuning, because like for example, maybe you make a team for example Liam plus Renzi, and then you want Renzi to be the highest attack in the team. to keep getting the attack up from to keep getting the buff from Lim. But because of Mavis attack up provide, maybe this attack up will actually mess up your whole team again, because only one certain player is gonna get the attack up. Not everyone gonna get the attack up together. So this attack up, maybe you're gonna mess up your tuning. So I would say do not equip Mavis Definite at all. Okay, Archibald. Archibald D3 after casting Enchanted Drop, which is his S2, after casting S2, can extend the ability cooldown by 1 turn. So this is very good for him, but in PvE situation, you don't really use Archibald in most of the content. So I'll say nah. Okay, Feng Xun. Feng Xun D3 will instantly get 3 stack of Fire Journey at the start of the round. Then after casting casting his S3, he'll instantly get 3 stack of Fire Journey as well. So he will instantly get a 3 stack at the start. Then after casting S3 will be a total of 8 stack. And everyone knows that you need Fire Journey stack on Feng Xun to let him keep pursuing, and not just that, he also dispelling stun and sleep. So I would say Feng Xun definitely is decent. You can actually chase for it for PvE, and also the stats boost. Attack and HP is really important for Feng Xun. So I would say, yeah, you can actually go for it for Feng Xun. Definite. Let me see. Feng Xun. If I compare with the decent Esper at the same tier, I would say Feng Xun will be a higher tier, because I use Feng Xun in a lot of content now, especially what she's able to do. She's able to buff the whole team, AP push, and getting more stats and more harmonic stat at the start of the round will actually benefit a lot as well. Okay, so did I miss any Esper? I don't think I missed any Esper, right? Okay, so let me go through one more time. Yeah, so for PvE Definite Pool tier list, I would say this is my final result. So the meta PvE, for those PvE player, these 4 Esper, you should get them as high definite as possible. For the strong one, depends on your usage as well. Actually, I would like to put Feng Xun a higher tier, but actually without the definite, she also works very well already. So I was just maintain it here. Then yeah. Feel free to comment down how do you think about this definite tier list. Is it what as you think, or if I put anything you disagree, feel free to comment down to let me know as well, so I can know what kind of reason or what is the point of view to actually think why he's not supposed to be in this tier. Maybe he should be higher tier, or maybe they should be a lower tier. Feel free to comment down to let me know. Right, so hope you guys find this definite tier list useful. I will make the PvP one soon when I have time, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.